Welcome to the MSP Corner podcast. Before we kick off our show, we would like to share what our main objective is at the MSP Corner. Our main goal is to help CEOs build profitable and self-sustainable IT service firms. We are not just providing tools for IT firms, we will be sitting in meetings with you to ensure your IT firm stays on track. The first area we are focused on, strategic sales. IT firms are stuck selling technology or IT support. We will provide you with the blueprint so you position your firm as an added value to your prospects. We will have framework on how to sell value so you influence the prospect into selecting your firm. The second area we see many IT firms struggle in is marketing. 90+% of businesses rely on antiquated marketing methods. The most popular choice, word of mouth. We have proven methods on how to attract the ideal prospect. Our framework will include how to become the online authority and be the business influencer for an industry. The third component to our package, scaling. IT firms walk away from opportunities because they lack the bandwidth or skill set to scale. We have lined up reputable businesses so our members can hire on-demand resources that will allow them to scale their business. The fourth area we will offer help in, selecting the right tools. In order to deliver value, you need the right tech stack. Our platform will offer information on products that are the ideal choice for MSPs. The fifth area we will offer help in is with documentation. Templates are a critical component when building an MSP. We will have contracts, proposals, SOWs, collateral, and much more in the template section. You will have every document you need to start up your managed IT service business. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go to our next podcast. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into the MSP Corner podcast. I am your host, Fernando Leon, and I'm joined by my co-host, Gregory Moravietz. And, well, the title of today's show, From BreakFix to MSP, Why the Path is Clearer Than Ever. But before we get started, I always have an agenda. And well, we got 2, 4, 6 topics, 7 topics we'll be discussing on this topic. Like always, we have an introduction and we'll be touching on the BreakFix illusion of progress, burnout as a business model problem, revenue volatility erodes confidence, the confidence gap keeps owners stuck, delegation isn't optional for growth, why the MSP shift is easier today, the real cost of staying put, short plug on the MSP Corner, and then, like always, I always have some closing thoughts, some words of wisdom, some words of inspiration. I hope they're inspirational. So let's get this show on the road. And let me just start off with today's IT service firms aren't stuck because the MSP path is like an unknown model or it's a concept that a few have tried, or a lot of these break-fix firms are stuck because they're too busy surviving. So during this episode, we're going to talk honestly about why BreakFix feels safe, comfortable, and why it quietly caps your growth, and why the transition to MSP is actually easier today than it was 20 years ago. And I'm going to share what I personally seen building MSPs, and then I'll ask Gregory for his perspective from the delivery side, because he's running operations, he's managing the team, he sees all the advantages from the BreakFix to the MSP model, because he's the one that implemented the entire model. He wrote the book Because back in 2003, it was really just a concept. It was we didn't have all the robust tools we have today, but he made it work. He actually made it work. It's phenomenal. So, first topic is the BreakFix illusion of progress. Because when you're under, let's say you're under $1 million in revenue, BreakFix can feel productive, right? The phone is ringing, work's getting done, money's coming in. But don't confuse movement or motion as momentum. BreakFix, don't forget, BreakFix rewards activity, not stability. Every dollar is tied to effort. Every calm week creates anxiety. And that seems so counterintuitive. Calmness creating anxiety, but why? I've seen owners confuse busyness with business health until one slow month exposes how fragile that model really is. The danger isn't BreakFix itself, it's staying there too long and mistaking survival for strategy. So it's a mental game. I believe it truly comes down to a mental game and getting out of your comfort zone. Because yeah, you know what? You could do pretty well. You could probably make 250, 300K a year doing the BreakFix model. But you're going to be burned out. You could probably get to 500K with a part-time guy. And maybe you're just doing staff aug and, it's working for you, but you're not delivering value. You're just delivering a service that everybody else could do. And that next thing you know, your client gets angry and they replace your tech support team. We don't want to be replaced. You want to keep your clients happy. You want to implement strategies that are proactive. And the BreakFix, it's not proactive and it's not progress, like I was saying. So, Greg, let me ask you the question of why does the BreakFix model fail behind the scenes before it fails publicly?
Well, it's hard for you to keep up with demand if you don't have any supply. And when you're in a breakfast environment, you can run out of supply. Your techs or your supplier, you can run out of time, which might be your time.
Yep.
So you can't scale with that.
That's a great point. And the scaling didn't even I didn't even touch on that because you're right. There's only one of you, or maybe there's two of you, or one and a half of you. You can't clone yourself. So, and that's the probably the biggest challenge is scalability. You might come across an opportunity that requires 24/7 support, or they're a regulated industry that, hey, you were highly recommended because you're a trusted and skilled individual, and they're like, hey, we need you to keep us compliant. You have to be open 24/7 to keep your clients compliant and secure, obviously. So that's your business model is not scalable. So before that ever happens, well, you just want to be ready. And what warning signs do owners usually ignore? What would you say? What would you say those signs are? I can tell you
Uh,
my signs because I can
I mean,
remember
the
back.
customer calls you and then complains. That's the main way to get feedback from anything. People are gonna complain.
Sure, they're going to complain. The other thing that's going to happen too is, well, that was the one I was going to use.
Oh, sorry.
Right? Because when you have a team on site, you kind of lose control. And we've had several accounts stolen because we had full-time people on site. And they were able to build a stronger relationship with the client back in the early 2000s. And that's where we failed. But we saw the warning signs. We saw that, okay, why are, why did we lose this account? Well, because they built a better relationship with the tech on site, and we failed to continue building that rapport and be the face of the organization. And when you stop doing that, you run the risk of losing your account. So look at that as a warning sign. So burnout is a business model problem. Burnout gets normalized in this industry, right? I've seen it. You got late nights, you got constant interruptions, owners wearing exhaustion like it's some like it's a badge of honor or proof that they care. But burnout isn't a leadership flaw, it's a structural one. BreakFix depends on heroics. The MSP model reduces heroics through predictability, processes, and obviously the proactive model, right? That's the whole backbone of the MSP model, is to be proactive. And the irony is that most owners don't need to work harder. They need a model that doesn't consume them. They need a model that allows them to scale, and that's obviously the MSP model. But when the business can't function without you, that should be your other warning sign. Stress becomes permanent. So Greg, why does burnout show up so consistently in reactive IT firms? For that exact reason, because there's only one person running the whole show.
There's only one person running the whole show.
But we did. I mean, even back then you were good at delegating. Back in the early 2000s, we had accounts coming in, and you're like, oh, put Tom out there, put Jim out there, put Chris over here, and it was like never ending. And so, but you saw the writing on the wall. You saw that. For one, I'll give you another warning sign. We can't give enough hours to some guys, some of the techs, and they just quit on you. And see, you're like, well, Tom was supposed to be out there on Monday. Oh, Tom got a full-time job. You were only working him 20 hours a week. And that's not going to work. That's risky business. So you have to look out for those warning signs. Now, revenue volatility erodes confidence, because in BreakFix, confidence increases and falls with cash flow. One good month feels like you won the lottery. It's very relieving. But one slow month feels like a personal hit on yourself. That emotional swing bleeds into pricing, boundaries, and decision-making. MSPs stabilize more than revenue. Keep that in mind. MSPs stabilize more than revenue. They stabilize leadership. And when income is predictable, owners think longer term. They delegate better. They stop reacting emotionally to every client conversation. Volatility isn't just a financial issue, it's a mindset tax. Now, Greg, how does recurring revenue change how owners lead?
Well, you can have more staff. You could have different level of staffing. You don't have to have emergency staff. You can cultivate lower end technicians, because you're giving them more rudimentary, consistent tasks to perform. And it's
Yep.
not like every time you meet somebody, you have to figure out if they know a particular technology. So it's more consistent.
Yep. No, I agree. I agree. Well, let's talk about the confidence gap and how it keeps owners stuck in that same spot for many years, because I still see it today. And most break-fix owners don't underprice because they lack the experience or they lack the skill set. They underprice because they doubt their value. Hourly billing reinforces that doubt. Because yeah, there's guys out there that are billing, 125, 150 an hour. And that feels good. It feels like, oh my gosh, I'm billing triple digits. It's really good for the ego. But sometimes I know this has happened a lot, but every invoice might feel to debates with the client. Now, MSP pricing reframes the conversation from labor to outcomes, right? Confidence doesn't appear before the transition. It's built during that transition. But you have to step forward before that certainty, that confidence shows up. Waiting to feel ready is how people stay stuck. And a lot of this again, it comes down to being comfortable. You're not going to grow if you're comfortable. You only grow when there's a struggle, where it's uncomfortable. That's where the growth really happens. And I think that should be very calculated, being uncomfortable, right? I'm not saying, oh, go hire 10 people, get uncomfortable, and you're going to grow. No, I mean, it's got to be very calculated, because you could probably do a lot of the work today, but when an account comes in that is going to obviously demand value, not just tech support, because there's dozens of you out there that can deliver tech support. So you have to determine, how am I going to stand out? How am I going to deliver value? And what's going to make me different? So you've got to, in order to build that confidence, you're going to have to partner with somebody that can help you deliver that value, deliver that proactive model, deliver that 24/7 SOC that can keep your clients compliant. So only make that, I think you should only make that change when the opportunity comes up. Because if you have clients that are happy with your tech support services, you can slowly transition them to MSP, and still, you could probably still do a lot of it yourself. But there are going to be times when you're not going to have the bandwidth. So you've got to think long term. You need to have a plan, because you're not going to be able to do it all. Now, delegation isn't optional for growth, right? BreakFix teaches owners to hold on to everything. They stay in control. They are the owners. Every escalation, every relationship. Delegation feels, risky. But refusing to delegate is even riskier. MSP models create defined layers of responsibility, not to remove quality, but to protect it. Growth begins when owners stop being the system. And today, delegation doesn't always mean hiring first. It means designing the business differently. So Greg, what breaks when owners refuse? What breaks when owners refuse to let go?
I mean, it's not breaking, it's just not moving forward. I guess if something's not moving, it's broken. But if you can't scale, and you can't recognize what you don't know and where you're weak, then you're going to be blind. And blind people can't move around very well. They can
Sure.
still move around and make things work. I mean, look at any functional blind person, they do a pretty good job. And if you get yourself into a situation where you're blind but you're still making it, good for you. But if you want to get out of that, then you need to be scalable, have a ticketing system, have managed services, have contracts. I mean, there's so many things we talk about that you need, that if you're blind, you won't have them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing, that there's so many components to delivering the MSP model, and you hit on something really important, which is the contract. I mean, the contract is a formality, but it's definitely a way to define the parameters of a relationship, and to clearly defined boundaries and what's not included, because people blur the lines when they say, hey, we're going to provide IT support at a fixed cost. Oh, what does that really mean? Well, you better clearly define those boundaries, because businesses will take advantage and you have to be very careful. Now, let me touch on the last two topics here. Why the MSP shift is easier today. Well, 20 years ago, like I was mentioning earlier, we had to hire people. Transitioning meant guessing. We had limited tools, no remote first delivery. Everybody wanted on-site support. There was no white label ecosystem. It just what didn't exist. Today, MSPs have mature platforms. There's proven frameworks and access to white label IT service providers that allow you to scale without forcing risky hires or big investments, right? You don't have to, and you don't, obviously, you all know, if you're going to hire somebody, you're going to have to put up the money ahead of time. You're going to first have to hire somebody to go find people for you. They don't do that for free, unless, I don't know, Greg, is that still possible? You can hire people without spending any money? Or is it less
No,
riskier to hire a white label IT partner?
it's less risky to hire a white label IT provider for sure.
Yeah, because they allow you to scale, and it's not like you don't have to hire additional full-time people if you land an account that's only going to generate, let's say, 20K a year or something, right? And you're not going to burn out your internal team if they're all senior level guys, and you're like, oh, we're going to have 100 tickets coming in a week for level one. Those guys are not going to be happy about that. Nobody wants to do level one tickets. So think about a white label help desk solution. If your people are all senior level and you're more concerned with projects and the heavier lifting, because level one, yeah, that's definitely a low risk partnership that can deliver big and keep your clients happy. So, but the excuse that once made sense has faded over time, because there are plenty of white label IT service providers out there today. And some of them will even provide you with the entire tech stack, or very few will manage your own tech stack. So that's a really important question. If you're going to be partnering with somebody, make sure that you ask that question. Can you manage my stack, or do I have to buy your stack? And there's a lot of groups that will not use your stack. They want you to use their stack. That's where they're making their money. That's how they make their money. They're really more software developers than anything. So let me touch on the real cost of staying put, or in other words, not making a change. This is the last topic I'll touch on, because here's the very uncomfortable truth. Staying in that break-fix model is still your choice. You're making that choice every day. It's not a moral failure, but it's really a leadership decision. The cost shows up quietly too, right? You've got missed revenue, you have stalled growth, you're personally exhausted. And this is the important part. A business that can't scale without pain, right? That's where the costs show up. You need to have mechanisms in place that will allow you to scale with very little risk, with very little to no money. And that's very hard to do without a white label partner. Now, the MSP model isn't about doing more work. It's about finally getting paid for the value you already deliver. because all of you are skilled. All of you can have expertise in a specific industry. You know it inside and out. That is value. You know their biggest challenges, you know their biggest pain points. Now you just have to leverage that knowledge into a business model that delivers value. And I know Greg fights me on this all the time, but I know that deep down he knows I'm right. You're not going to get accused of a crime and go hire a divorce attorney. You're just not, unless you're ill-informed, being given bad advice. You're going to go hire a criminal lawyer. So IT is the same way. Most businesses, because there are going to be ill-advised businesses, they will hire a jack of all trades, but there's a lot of them that will hire experts. So deliver value and you'll get paid what you're worth. All right, let me just give a quick plug on the MSP Corner. Gregory and we're on a mission. 2026 is going to be our year, and we're going to continue to deliver valuable content to our members. And as founders of an MSP, we know your guys' struggle, and that's the reason we're talking about it every week. We know what you're going through. And this platform we're developing is designed to help guide you through a lot of your challenges. And we want to offer frameworks that solve your biggest challenges, which is selling value, marketing, scaling, right? If you need a white label partner, contact us. We'll get you hooked up with one of our partners who can provide you with plenty of data on how they can help you scale. Now, my closing thoughts are this. If you're still running on BreakFix today, it doesn't mean you've failed. It means you haven't made that decision to make that transition, because it's not, I'm not going to say it's scary. It's just, it will be challenging, but anything worth doing is always going to be challenging. Nothing easy is worth doing, right? If this was easy, everybody would be doing it. The MSP path is an obvious one now. It's not like it's like a hidden gem. I mean, it's so obvious that it can be easily implemented because the tools exist, the partners exist, the frameworks exist. And us at the MSP Corner, we're going to work with owners who are done guessing and ready to build with intention. So the real question isn't, can you make that life-altering shift? It's, when are you going to make it? All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap. And thanks for listening. And don't forget to sign up to be a member at the MSP Corner. It's www.mspcorner.com. Please share our link with a CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. All right, guys, have a great day. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to sign up to be a member on www.mspcorner.com. Please share our link with a CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. Have an awesome day.